up athletes, welcome back to this channel. In this video today we are going to learn how to overcome mental barriers when it comes to calisthenic skills, especially straight arm skills, that there is a ton of people on the internet saying to you that there is a genetic limit and not everyone can do it. But I will teach you now exactly how to get rid of that mental barrier and achieve skills like the planche, the front lever touch, the Maltese, iron cross. Every skill that you want to achieve is starting with achieving it in your mind. So first of all, let's get this subject away right at the start of the video. The skill that you want to achieve, it's something that you need to be already achieving in your mind itself. And it's not like a cliche or something that I'm telling to you just to make sure that I'm saying something different from everyone else. But this is literally the truth. If you want to achieve the planche, you have to already imagine yourself doing it in your brain. Same goes with the front lever or even the Maltese, which if you are watching this video right now and you think that Maltese is hard, it's actually not. It's literally such an easy skill. It's a basics straight arm skill. There is more than 1,000 people on the earth doing Maltese or did it this day, for example. So if you're saying to yourself that no, Maltese is too hard for me, front lever touch is too hard for me, yes, though that is exactly what is going to happen in this reality. You will just not achieve these skills. So the first thing that you want to do, if you have a mental barrier, and we will talk about everything, we will talk about why it happens. So why did actually I had a mental barrier in planche for the first place? What did I do to actually understand that I have a mental barrier? And of course, how to overcome it, how to fix it, and how to get from planche to this planche in just such a short amount of time that there is no way that I've just gained so much strength. It was just my mental that I worked and overcome on to make sure that I'm progressing at the right manner. Now, I've encountered thousands of people, actually not thousands, but maybe even more than that on the internet, saying to you that planche is about genetics, that planche is not for everyone, that if you achieve the full planche, it is probably your general limit, and only the top of the top, the genetics freaks, are able to go for the Maltese, for the planche presses, for the planche push-ups. But that is just wrong. And I thought the exact same thing. I'm just like you. I know you are that guy. You're thinking that the planche press isn't for you. That maybe you can hold the planche for 3 seconds, for 5 seconds, but you can't really go for 10, for 15, or even more than that. But it's literally in your mind. I was in your exact same place 2 years ago, from 2 years ago to right now. Like just 2 months ago, I was able to fix that mental barrier. And after getting to such a huge level, to such a big progress in 2 months, I realized that it was only the mental barrier that held me back. So when I'm talking about planche, why most of the time people have this mental barrier in planche? First of all, people are feeding you, athletes, top athletes are feeding you on the internet that the planche is just genetics. So I will write it down. Genetics. And people are saying, yo bro, if you're more than 170 centimeters or you're more than 65 kg or 60 kg, then to achieve the full planche, this is probably not for you. All you have to do is just to do your best. Maybe take a coach who can get you to the straddle planche, get you close to the full planche, but it's only above the full planche that you really can't really do anything about it. But that is literally wrong. When I started my service at the army, which was 2 years ago, I started my service with a full planche for 3 seconds. That was the main goal. I achieved it after only 1 year of training, but I was fed by the internet that after achieving the full planche, I can't really do anything with it, so I just stopped progressing. I worked out every single day, not every single day, but I went in week on, week out, and I just did everything the right track. I had good programming, I had good everything. But the fact that I was missing the mental side, and every time I'm doing the session, I was just, yeah, let's just go for the full planche. I just want to do the 3 to 5 seconds with better form, with good form, and I just held myself back. So besides genetics, I was already telling to myself in my head, I can't do it. more than 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Okay, got it. And that's literally what happens for more than 1 year, from 2023 January to 2024 January. I was between 3 to 5 seconds full planche because that's what I thought my body is capable of. I couldn't do a press, I couldn't do a push-up. I worked on straddle, I got to straddle presses, but when I got to full, I was just, no, you can't really do the presses. I can only do 3 to 5 seconds and that's about it. That is what my limits are. And because that's what I thought in my head, that is exactly what happened. Exactly, that was what happening in the reality. I was just doing the 3 to 5 seconds full planche. I got it with perfect form. You can see it on my Instagram. If you don't follow me there, click the link down below. You will go see my Instagram. You can see my highlights. My whole journey in calisthenics is documented. You can check planche V1, V2, V3, and you can see that I didn't really go over that 3 to 5 seconds in full planche. Then, another one important thing that gave me that mental barrier is while serving at the army, I haven't saw many people, actually I haven't saw even one, who is progressing specifically on planche and actually making gains. So I thought to myself, if actually no one that I know can progress in planche while being in the army, then why I'm different? Why I'm actually different from everyone else? And to be honest, I am different. Right now I know it. But before that, like 1 to 2 years ago, I was just thinking, I'm right now going to the service in the army for more than 2 years, actually for just little less than 3 years, and I was just saying, okay, I will just try to progress as slow as possible. Even 1 single second of progress is okay for me in that 3 years, and that held me back. So another thing that I was telling to myself, that you can't progress in the army. And what actually happened from that point on, when I told it to myself, I improved so much in front lever, but I was holding myself in planche because I was just saying, I didn't saw anyone doing it with planche, but with front lever I do saw some athletes that are doing it. So I was just saying, okay, planche will be on maintenance, even though I was training for Tuesday and for Friday every single week on planche, and I couldn't really make gains, but on front lever I just had it. So that was some of the what really happened and what made me think that I have a mental barrier, because I saw that I'm improving so much in front lever, but in planche it's just staying in the same place. So again, I was telling to myself, it's only genetics, I can't do more than 3 to 5 seconds, I can't really progress in the army. And one last sentence that I was telling all over my head every single day is that planche is hard. Always told that to myself. And in the first 2 minutes of the video, I think you remember that I told you that Maltese is easy. And yes, I really think like that, because now I understand how important it is to think about these type of thoughts. I was also always telling to myself, planche is hard, even if I can progress in the army, even if I can go for more than 3 to 5 seconds, even if I have the right genetics, it's still hard and I can't really do it. And now I understand that planche is so easy, such a basic skill. You just hold yourself, that's about it. Literally just put it in your mind that this is only that. And this last sentence was the one that held me back the most, because I saw people doing planche presses, planche push-ups all over the world, but I just couldn't really grasp it, that it's that easy. And to be honest, right now, I'm looking back at myself and I'm saying, yo, how stupid I was. I was so stupid that I thought that planche is hard. Literally just a basic skill. One more important sentence on the why that really made me just stay at the level that I was, is that I was always thinking, constantly thinking, that I can only get better in the planche when I'm doing it in my room, right here. And the problem was that when I went back into the army from Sunday to Thursday and coming back on Friday, I couldn't really train. Like, I was training the planche on Tuesday, but it was always with a band or always just straddle, and I just tried to maintain my level instead of actually trying to achieve something. So another important aspect is to not only train the planche in your comfort zone. Go to the park near your home, or go to, instead of the room, go do it in another room. Go do it maybe in the backyard. Things like that are actually really important. I will talk about it a lot on the how I actually overcome the mental barrier. But one more important thing is that I can't be strong in planche, not at home. I constantly thought about it in my head, about this sentence. Every time I went to the army, I was just saying, okay, it's Tuesday, it's planche day, I will just do my best because I can't really express my strength if I'm not at home. And the same thing didn't happen with the front lever. With the front lever, I was telling myself, I can do it everywhere, I can do it on every bar, I can do it on 4 hours of sleep, and I progressed so much on front lever in these past 2.5 years, but planche was really stalled up until I fixed the mental barrier. Let's right now move on to the what. What actually happened that made me understand that I have such a big mental barrier in planche, and of course we will finish the video with how I fixed it. So when I'm talking about what happened that I actually realized, I will go back to my bicep injury. And when I injured my bicep in August 2024, it was after I was making huge progress in planche. So I was getting the 10 seconds full planche. I actually took that barrier and completely crushed it. 3 to 5 seconds? No, I actually got the 10. I actually progressed to 1 full press in full planche, and then I got to 2 full planche presses, and I realized that it's really easy for me. So I already blocked in the genetics. So I knew that there are still some things that are really hard for me. One of them was I can't be strong in planche, not at home. So I was doing the 10 seconds hold when I was here in my room. I was doing more presses, better presses with like cleaner form, better form only at my home, but when I've done it in the army, I was just feeling really weak. So this still stayed the same, and planche is hard. I was constantly telling it to myself like up until 2 months ago. So this also stayed the same. And you can't progress in the army. That's also, I shuttered it down because I realized that I was still able to do like 7 seconds full planche hold, maybe 2 presses with a little bit form, but it's much better than what I had at the start. But when I realized that I stopped thinking these thoughts, I actually got better in planche. Like from 2024, like March to August, until I got the bicep injury that I had, I understood that there was something of the mental barrier that held me back, and this is just one step of it, because these two, which are actually the most important ones, were still constantly in my head. And when I realized that these thoughts got away, but these thoughts stayed in my head, I realized that I have a mental barrier in planche. And when I realized it, everything changed. It was just in August, September, so I was injured from planche and from my formalities, but I realized that I had a mental barrier because finally I realized that some thoughts are constantly happening in my head. So when I realized that there are some thoughts that went away, but some thoughts that stayed the same since the start of the army, because planche is hard. Yes, it was since the army. I got the full planche in 1 year, and then I started the service at the army, and boom, couldn't really train, couldn't really make progress. So this was about the army, and this again about the army. I can't be strong in planche if I'm not at home. So I realized that these are things that holding me back, and at that time I was talking to one of the best athletes in the world in planche. If you don't know him, go check him out. This is for Idan Porat, and I talked with him about the bicep injury because my bicep injury was very similar to his. So I talked a little bit more with him, tried to understand what really happening to my bicep because I knew that he can help me. And we got to the point that we've talked not only on the biceps, but on the mental side, on the mental barrier. He's someone who is really talking about it a lot, so props to him. But while talking to him about it, I realized that I probably do have the mental block. So another thing that helped me is talking with someone about it. Because if you don't always talk about it with yourself, but talk about it with someone, you can actually realize some things. And I realized that both my bicep injury and the whole plunge journey that I'm not really progressing is due to a mental barrier. So these are the two main things that helped me understand like what is happening and that I do have a mental barrier. And if you are thinking that you have a mental barrier, the best thing that I can say to you, the best advice is to go talk about it with someone, and he will probably be able to realize, if he's a calisthenics athlete, he will probably be able to realize that this is actually a mental barrier, and that just the fact that you understand that you have a mental barrier is the number one solution to solve this problem and to understand how to overcome that mental barrier. And one more important thing that made me understand that I have a mental barrier, if you remembered when I told you that I can't be strong in planche if I'm not at home, I also talked about not being able to express my strength and do the same exact set, not at my room. So I went to the living room, tried to do a planche, couldn't really do it. I tried to do it in the backyard, couldn't really do the same exact place, the same exact strength. So I realized that it's not really the sort of not at home, but not at my room, at my comfort zone. So when I realized that I am strong only at my room, I realized that this is a big mental block. Like, only at my room I can really express my strength the best as I can. So these three thoughts or these three actions made me realize that I have a mental barrier in planche, and the next thing that I need to do is to understand how to overcome it. One more thing before we're moving to how I overcome it, not only about the what, but it's like why and what at the same time. And that I thought that plunge leads to injuries. And what happened when I thought that plunge is leading and actually is an exercise that is making injuries? I just injured my bicep. It's not was only from planche, but it was from Maltese. But when I had problems with my biceps was in pain when I was doing planche presses or even planche push-ups, I constantly had that thought, yo, planche is actually hard and it's giving me pain in the biceps because planche is making you injured. And this thought constantly was in my head until I realized that it's just a mental block. So another thing that was like in the what happened that I realized that I have a mental block is that this sentence right here was constantly in my head, and then I realized that I'm just making it a reality. Because I'm thinking that planche will lead me to injuries, it just led me to injuries. And then I realized that this is a mental block. So it's basically can be both in the why and in the what, like what happened that I realized that I have a mental barrier in planche. And that's about it. And now we will go to actually how I overcome it. I'm giving you so much knowledge, so much value and knowledge that I think I can just charge much more than that, than just being on YouTube. But this is the most important section of the video. How I actually overcame the mental barrier and made it from 0 presses in full planche to 4 clean in 2 months. This is not something that happened just right away, just because I gained some strength and made it. Same goes with the 3 to 10 seconds Maltese. Again, there is no way that I just from 3 to 10 seconds in only 1 month just because I gained some strength. It was basically because I overcome the mental barrier and I was able to express my strength better in the exact movement of push straight arm skills which are heavily on the bicep, heavily on the anterior deltoid. I knew I have the strength, but the mental barrier was actually blocking me from expressing in it. One thing besides these two is a 15 seconds clean hold. So I was able to just do grease the groove, 15 seconds full plunge hold, clean full plunge hold, and this is one of the why and how I actually overcame this injury. So I will start it right away with the most important one, GTG. Now, if you don't know what GTG is, I'm talking about greasing the groove. It's a aspect of training that you are doing the skills that you want to achieve without warm-up at sub-maximal effort, and you are just doing it so your nervous system can actually understand what to do and how to do it without warm-up at all, which means that you're basically just jumping into the skill. Now, GTG is something that I already did a video about it, so I will not break it down now. If you want, you can just go check the link in the description. I will show there the GTG video that I've talked about how to use it. But I'm not suggesting to everyone to do it in planche, because planche can lead to injuries. I'm saying it again, planche can lead to injuries if you're not working on it the right way. But if you are really conditioning your body, you can actually make it to the fact that you can do GTG in planche everywhere, anytime, at any place. And that actually made me get some of the mental barriers out of the way. So, planche lead to injuries, but I can do it anytime without warm-up. So it's not really leading to injuries because I was able to do planche, supinated planche, which is heavily on the bicep, on the floor, which is heavy on the wrists, anywhere, even at the army. And that is really important thing, because if I was able to do it in the army, in planche, not at home, so I can be strong in planche, not at home, but I'm doing GTG, so I'm making this not a reality. Planche leads to injuries. This is not real, because I was able to do GTG every single day, and I was able to do it not at home. I was doing it at the army, and I still felt strong. That made me to overcome these two. I can be strong at home. Planche lead to injuries. It was still really hard for me. I was doing planche, supinated planche on the floor, but in straddle and not in full. So I still thought that planche is hard. But one thing that helped me a lot with GTG is that I'm strong only at my room, so I talked about it. This is only went down just because of the GTG. So again, GTG helped me a ton to overcome everything. The second thing that helped me is healing my bicep injury. So most of the time, if you're having a mental block, it's because of some sort of injury that always keep on happening, and that's just because that you think that planche leads to injuries. So healing my bicep injury was actually, again, something that made me realize that planche does not lead to any injuries. Because I healed the bicep, I was able to do planche presses, full planche push-ups, maybe I don't know, Maltese, which is even more heavily on the bicep. Not only in GTG, but also just in my training sessions, but it made me realize that planche does not lead to any injuries at all. So when I'm talking about how, like, these two things, GTG and healing the bicep injury, made me not thinking about any thoughts that actually was always constantly in my head. So I got rid of them. So it's about here. Some thoughts are constantly happening in my head, but I just got rid of them. So I realized that because of this, I have the mental barrier. So if I will not think about planche is hard, planche leads to injuries, I can't be strong, not at home. If I will not think about it, it will just not happen. And this is one thing that helped me overcome this mental barrier. Another important thing is that I did planche everywhere. Again, another thing that helped me a ton is doing planche everywhere. So even if I'm at home, I will not be doing it only in my room, but also in the backyard or in the living room, or we'll just go to somewhere else, like maybe to another city to be with calisthenics athletes or with my friends, and just doing planche everywhere. And that made me again get rid of that thought that I can't be strong in planche, not at home. And just after doing this and healing the bicep injury, like GTG and did plunge everywhere, is basically on the same stuff, but I just mentioned it because even at home when I was practicing, I was doing also trainings outside or just at the living room and not in my own room. And when I've done this, I realized that plunge is not hard. This is the only thought that was still in my head, that some thoughts are constant happening in my head, that plunge is hard, but I was eliminating this just 1 to 2 months ago after talking with Idan about the mental side of plunge and about the bicep injury and about the fact that it's not really hard. And after getting some of the progress so fast, like from 0 to 2 full plunge presses in like 2 weeks, I realized that just plunge is not hard. Maltese is not hard, 3 to 10 seconds in only 1 month. And right now you can see that I eliminated everything on the why I had a mental barrier, and of course I fixed on what I thought I had a mental barrier because. And obviously I also fixed on the what, like what happened that I understand that I had a mental barrier. I understand there are some thoughts that are constantly happening, and I eliminated that thoughts and talking with someone about it. So I started to talk about it not only with Idan, because he's not really my friend, he was just helping me, but I talked about it a lot with other guys, near my surroundings. Also at the army, there are some calisthenics guys who are helping them with their calisthenics journey, and I talked about them that I have some mental barrier in plunge, but I'm about to fix it soon, so I was eliminating that as well. And of course, I'm strong on it, my room, we've talked about it, I already fixed that. And then guess what happened? I actually overcome, and this is how I overcome. These are the main 3 things that helped me to eliminate everything in the why and everything in the what. And right now, I'm able to do plunge, pain-free, crazy level. I'm actually progressing on floor, on parallettes, on white plunge, on Maltese, on presses, soon on push-ups. Literally making the best gains possible. Actually, everyone in the Instagram is noticing that I'm just making a huge level up, and it was so easy for me because there are right now any thoughts that are holding me back. There is no mental barrier in me, and probably will not be in the whole calisthenics journey, and I will be able to unlock the Maltese press, unlock the Valgender, even though this is the hardest skill in calisthenics. Yes, it's the hardest skill in calisthenics, but it's still easy if you train calisthenics. So watch me 1 year from now getting the Valgender as well on rings. I actually right now have no thoughts that are holding me back. So the 20 seconds full plunge hold, the 5 full plunge presses, the 10 full plunge presses, the level up in push-ups is already gonna come. If I'm saying it to myself in my mind that this is going to happen, this will actually happen. So if this video was helpful for you, you can follow on my Instagram. The link is in the description again, and you will see me progress each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, and you will understand that plunge is not hard and you can actually do it everywhere. And now that you've understand how to unlock your full potential and get rid of the mental barrier in plunge or in every other single skill, whether it's the front lever or front lever touch or the Maltese, there is one last important thing that might be holding you in the same place with progress, and this is the right programming. And I haven't talked about it because this is a video on the mental barrier, but even if you're fixing your mental barrier, there is some way or another that you will not, that there is probably 100% that you will not make this progress. 0 to 4 presses in 2 months, 3 to 10 seconds Maltese in 1 month. Again, 15 seconds clean hold without even working on it. This is only due to right programming. So if you're currently stuck with your calisthenics journey, you can't really make any progress, and you need someone who can actually guide you and to actually help you building a plan, a consistent plan specific for you, I can help you through online coaching. So if it sounds good to you, and only if you're taking calisthenics serious, just DM me below on Instagram and I will come back to you as soon as possible, only for those who want to get my knowledge. Again, if this video was helpful for you, please make sure to subscribe to this channel for more calisthenics tips, like this video, and of course comment me down below how did you actually overcame your mental barrier, or if you haven't overcame yet, but from this video you realize that you have a mental barrier, write me on which skill it is. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.